Hey everyone, this is Tom from MonTac here, and we are back at it again with a match of the week. This time it is the Pro Tournament in the April 2023. A little weird way to say that, but here we are. We're going to be doing it in the quarterfinals. We have got ZweiStein taking on the current Pro Champion Crimson, and should ZweiStein win, the title will go vacant, and should Crimson win, they will be that much closer to becoming one of the most dominant champions of all time. Funny enough, Crimson is actually the player that took the title from ZweiStein back when they had it last month. So this was a bit of a very important matchup for ZweiStein to win. And of course we have APOC judging that. Very well done, the current master tactician. We've got Jared right off the bat from Crimson, so Vigilantes as expected. It is the top deck currently going on, and ZweiStein, a player who used to use Vigilantes. In fact, they used them when they used to compete for the master tournaments, but with the recent changes they've decided to go for a different style, as after they lost in a Vigilante mirror match they decided there had to be another way, and now they're fighting back with a completely new deck is what I would expect in this situation. They've been training with APOC all night, getting ready, labbing out decks, figuring out what they can use against this dominant champion. So let's see how we go. Both of these guys put a lot of work in to be at the top of the game, and this is going to be hard. This is going to be a tough match for sure. Even coming into this matchup, I'd say Crimson is the favorite, but yeah, it's going to be huge if ZweiStein can take it from them. Okay. ZweiStein, of course, representing Germany at this stage, and Crimson, one of our most dominant United States champions. We actually haven't really had a proper dominant United States reign since probably DNB back in February 2022. So over a year ago, we've had a really dominant United States champion. So yeah, we'll have to see what they can do. We're going to start off with the typical Vigilante plays here. Very anti-OTK. Very good role for ZweiStein here. They're going to have to see what they can do. How they're going to out Crimson's board here. The whole reason that Vigilantes are incredibly strong in this current moment is the fact that they can have a lot of abilities activate off of tacticals being used on the enemy's turn. So what Crimson's done here is they've used 2 Dans, which allows them to search for 2 Vigilante tacticals. These tacticals are kind of like tools that are used to either drop power or extend it to bigger Vigilante monsters. This helps them deal with a lot of those board wipe strategies and multi-attackers. This is where we find out what ZweiStein is playing, and we're playing a card face down with a roll of 6. At this point, Crimson is going to be realizing what kind of craziness is befalling them. We are potentially looking at a cryptid matchup. Cryptids are cards that can play themselves face down, and they cannot attack until they are flipped face up. But they can be attacked, and when they are attacked, they are flipped face up. Another important thing about cryptids is, of course, you don't know what they're going to do, you don't know what they are, you don't know how powerful they are, but of course they do still have to concur with the current class roll, and where that would normally be very scary for cryptid players, like if you roll the 2 or 3, you can't really bluff your enemy with a monster from your hand, because most of the time that will be a 2 or a 3. In this case, ZweiStein has got the roll of 6, which means that literally anything could be face down there. In this case, we look like we're playing 2 famous Yetis face up. So obviously you don't really need too much of an element surprise in this case, but yeah, ZweiStein's been labbing this deck for a little bit. I wasn't sure if they were going to bring it to this matchup, but they've been going a bit crazy here. Cryptid's Determination is such an exciting card for Cryptids. Gives them all the consistency they need, allows them to add a bunch of cards from field back to hand, put them back down into field. The mind games are real, and it's going to be tough for Crimson, who's currently up very late at the moment, to make this matchup happen. A lot of factors are coming into this rematch. Going straight into conflict, the crazy thing about these Yetis is every time they win a conflict, they will force Crimson to lose a health point. Yeti is going to go for damage here, putting Crimson in a bit of a tough bind. Guilty Sea is a very unusual play this early into the match, but of course it is not impossible to see again. We're going to hammer down Okay, so that is going to win the conflict. So it forces Crimson to mill 2 and lose a health point. Dang. Yeti is so good in this format. Oh, and they've taken a Lance and they've taken a Dylan as penance. It is a very nice play there. Let's see if they can go over Dan. If they can go over Dan, this is going to seriously injure Crimson. Taking, oh my gosh. So we're going to go into casualty. Okay, so we've got casualty now on the Dan. Dan will allow them to bring out a Darius, which is very strong in this case. But then they will have to still mill. Goodness me, Guilty C done as well. This is going to be very difficult. ZweiStein already putting them in a very good position. Now Darius will hit here. Darius will hit 3,000. Huge amount of power right now. Now the base thing here for Crimson here is to start specially removing stuff as Vigilantes do. They are an incredibly strong control deck based on basically specially removing your enemy monsters and specially removing your own monsters to activate their sleeper skills, which then give them power ups. They power down the enemy. They can even get you more Vigilantes and even more health points. It's a very balanced deck, a very strong deck. It doesn't really have any particular weaknesses as such, and it has taken Crimson to grab the pro title within a month of entering the pros, which is basically unheard of considering most players it takes them about a year. So yeah, really impressive stuff from Crimson, and of course they got really close to getting player of the season in the previous season, so it has just been a great rivalry between these two, and we'll have to see. Okay, so immediate response to Hut being played, we're going to sack the 4 to get rid of it. Question is, does he have another one? He does not. He's going to go and potentially specially move Yeti. Good choice here to stop the milling and will stop the health loss. Lucky 135 is a good play as well. A Lance would be a good spot here, I think. Lance is going to go there. Using ZweiStein's own art against him. It's going to specially move the Yeti. And it's going to pop both of them. The great thing about the Lance, though, is that because it was played from Lucky 135, it can't perish this turn, which means it will allow itself to out those Yetis quite easily. Very nice. Now let's see, what is that face down card? Of course, it could be a Thoust, which is great, but it also you don't have a lot of cryptids around, so you won't really get a heck of a lot of power boost. I think there's only... There's only a couple, let's see. There's one Yeti. So we've got 2. It's not a huge amount of power, even if you activate it. I mean, it's decent, you get to 3,000 Thoust, and they're going to pass it over, not even try to entertain the idea of attacking that face down. Now, while 1 health is a very precarious situation, cryptids... I believe ZweiStein is prepared for the corrosive matchup. However, the disadvantage Crimson is definitely experiencing is because they don't experiment with decks very much competitively. They're going to be a difficult spot. They did not come prepared to deal with a corrosive strategy in this case. I'm going to put more cards face down. Dear goodness, this is going to be difficult. Crimson is looking at a bunch of unknowns. Question marks even. Cryptid Resurgence is hitting the field. And Cryptid Resurgence will keep ZweiStein's field from, their Perish Pile from being viewable because of the fact that it needs to swap out cards from the field and Perish Pile, and it doesn't really, not a really good card if your enemy can see what you're switching it out for. So, by keeping this all secretive and keeping the burn damage at a maximum, this is going to put the Crimson in an absolute enclosed box where they're going to have to figure out a way to potentially pierce some sort of weak point, and they're going to need to get that Coconut Hut going really quick. So we'll have to see if Crimson can draw into it, or if they're going to be left in a lurch. Yeti's coming back. This is going to be a very tough match for Crimson here. This Yeti is not specially moved, and it is going to be a brutal one. Going right over Dan, the milling is going to be so painful in this case, forcing Crimson to use those battle tactics very early on, otherwise they will lose so much resources. They've already lost 4 cards due to 2 Yetis. Another wound, another loss will result in a 3rd health loss and another 2 cards. I mean, they've lost 6 cards out of their 30 card deck, which means we're talking 20% of their deck gone from a Yeti. Let's see if that happens. At this case, Crimson has a way to potentially even have them crash, but they got the sack 2 to do that, and it's really just now trying to conserve decks and resources in terms of cards here. There's no real way to get ZweiStein to lose a health point, especially with Vigilantes. They have no burn damage. Let's see. This is very scary. Dang. Going to have to use Gareth, which will deal with the Yeti. I believe Yeti drops it down to 300, which will have them crash, and then you got Casualty, which will allow them to play out a Vigilante from deck, which could be a secondary Darius potentially. Let's see. Okay, so Dylan's going to hit play. It's going to be at 2250. It's got specialty removal, which is really what Crimson needs. And it's also really good because he's not putting too much of his best guys out in the front lines. The question is, does he have a Shining Beacon left in deck? He might. Could also be in his hand. Could be breaking in his hand. Looks like he's separating his cards into tacticals and monsters. Good way to be, but also gives you enemy information on where your cards are as well. Bit of a double-edged sword. The Monomace on the Dylan here is interesting. And we're going to reveal the hand to show Mechanic Turmoil, Double Faust, Placement Shutdown, and a Regen. Oh gosh, that means ZweiStein's going for the Osakit play. This is going to be very interesting. We get to see a little bit of that later, but as for now... Oh goodness, this is crazy. Okay, so Crimson has a way to pull this off. It's just going to be really hard. Okay, roll of 5 now. I'm going to do the little maybe later. So roll of 5 here is going to be really good for Crimson. They can especially move the monsters, and that will allow them to be flipped face up. And that Marquee is so good to deal with, because if that was not specially moved, it would lead to further damage activating. Every time it loses a conflict, the enemy loses a health point. So if ZweiStein can get Marquee to activate enough times, they can start to close out this match. Now the good thing for Crimson is they've used Darius on the Marquee, which means it's a permanent special removal, and they did not pick the wrong one, which is very good. The reason the permanent special removal really matters is that Marquee is incredibly important for ZweiStein, and if Marquee specialty remains removed, they can't use it to get the burn damage, which is the heart of their strategy. Also, another huge thing about Crimson is their turn now is restricted to only 2 cards. Since Odru was activated, they're even more restricted. I mean, this is a very, very nasty control face-off. We got burn versus special removal. Okay, this is really good. There could be a regen here. Regen's going to hit the field. And this opens up something incredibly important. What you guys are about to see on the next turn is huge. Because, okay, you're going to see soon. There's a card that ZweiStein has in his asset pile called Jigsaw Giant Ossicip. And we're going to see now if he can use this to board wipe Crimson, giving Ossicip to Crimson. And it will shut off Crimson's ability to gain health points while basically allowing ZweiStein to slowly burn them. It's really nasty. You'll see it when it comes out here, but if this happens, Crimson's in the danger zone right now because they're in 4 or less health. They need to be at 5 to survive. This is a very, very scary situation for Crimson, and they might not even have any idea that they're in it. Already the web is starting to spin, and he is in the den of the spider. This is going to be a very difficult position to get out of. Let's just see if he is aware of it. Of course, he has only been playing for a little bit, basically a year less than ZweiStein. ZweiStein has a year of experience more than Crimson in these kinds of situations, competing for the title now as a former 4-time pro champion. This is huge. Let's see what happens. Rapture Dragon Herald. So this is going to be really good because this sets up the Rapture Dragon Invictus, which is a great board wipe, and it can board wipe everything that's not divine and then gives ZweiStein health, which is really nice. But yeah, so ZweiStein needs to have 3 health points because he needs to sacrifice 2 for Turmoil. Once he has that, everything else comes together. I think we're highly likely to see Rapture Dragon Invictus hit the board here and get the health points ZweiStein needs, just for them to use Ossicip to completely shut off Crimson's deck. It is so nasty, this play. So when you're playing ZweiStein, make sure to keep your health above 5. In all situations, you cannot pass the turn when you have 4. You cannot let them get above. You cannot let yourself fall to this. It is extremely nasty, and yeah, it's gonna be tough to deal with. Here we go. Let's see what happens here. Putting the 2 cards face down. At this stage, we're going to go Cryptic Resurgence, popping a card. Copying the card is Cryos. Cryos will allow them to pop an enemy card, which will deal with the Darius. Ooh. We're going to go for Darius. Alright, this is a Control Masterclass there, dealing with the playmaker of the enemy's field to stop them from offering more combinations. Here we go. The trouble thing is, both of their personalities as well are very different. So ZweiStein is very calm and collected and very straightforward, very polite. Crimson, on the other hand, has a bit of very chaotic sense about how he plays, and it can throw off a lot of normally mannered players. But with someone's veteran experience as ZweiStein, they definitely will have the edge here to be able to understand what the game is being played and not take it too personally. This is getting very heated. Here we go. Gonna hit Marky now. Marky hits field. Marky's incredibly strong because now, of course, if Marky loses a conflict, it will force Crimson to take further damage, which will further constrict them. Unfortunately, I don't know if Crimson is aware of this. They need to get their health up now. It just might be too late. They've got the cards in hand. I would imagine anything like a Violet. I think a Violet is during enemy's turn. It might be only your preparation stage though. Could be either, but either way, that is a card that can get health. They also have Gareth, which I know is during enemy's turn, which can give health. It is so important that Crimson is aware of this strategy, because if they are not aware, this could be a huge problem. crashing the Marquee, which will force a health loss for Crimson even lower. My gosh. Oh, this is so scary because at any second we could see Oskip drop, and with that we'll hit Turmoil. The only issue that ZweiStein has right now is they need to get to 3 health, so they are lacking health. They need to get to that 3rd, but it's not hard to do. They have the conditions for their Rapture Dragon Invictus, which would then allow ZweiStein to gain like 3 health very easily, but it does require them to give up their board wipe, which if it does go sideways is huge. It will cost them the match, because at this level, especially now, they're playing in Pro A, the top of the top of the top. You cannot make a mistake. This is going to be crazy. Okay, past the turnover. Here we go. Turn 7 out of 10. And the march keeps going. Roll of 4. Okay. It's going to specially move the card right down the middle. Let's see what it is. It's a Yeti. Oh gosh, definitely glad he dealt with that, because Yeti itself, as you saw previously, will cause more burn. Oh, and they're going to kill their own Yeti to bring back something else. You know what that's going to be. It's going to be Marquee. Marquee is back online. Marquee is definitely coming back. That is going to cause so much more burn. It is going to be very annoying. But Crimson is notoriously very health-focused strategy. Vigilantes have a lot of health gains. He runs Regenerator. He runs Coconut Hut. This is a very tough strategy to pull off on Crimson. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like Crimson is drawing any of his outs. Or potentially he took them out. But in this case, it's not looking good. Crimson is looking into second deck. This may mean they want to go into a Barox, which would mean they're pushing the aggro agenda, which would be unusual for Crimson, but they may be aware of the fact that Oskip is coming. And they're going to go for Kaleidos. Oh, they're going for Resurgence. They're going for Resurgence. Great play from the champion. This is going to be targeting Resurgence 100%. Actually, no, I might be going for Marquee instead. Either way, it's a good shot. I think Resurgence is better, because you can kind of nuke it, but then I guess you could revive Resurgence with Darkness, the asset monster for cryptids, so either way, it is a tough call. I think maybe popping a Marquee here, either way, it's a good call, I think. I don't think there's any bad calls here. I just know they definitely can. Ooh, we're going to hit Marine Guard on that. Marine Guard is a good play here. That will end the turn immediately. Passing it back to ZweiStein, not allowing Crimson to get their Kaleidos off. Is Kaleidos during preparation stage? Once we card during your preparation stage, so it has to be during his preparation stage for him to pop a card, which means ZweiStein's going to be looking to deal with that Kaleidos immediately. Otherwise, they could lose not only their Resurgence, but they could also potentially lose their Marquee. The only thing that Crimson has to be aware of now is dealing with Marquee, and they need to get their health up. They need to get their health up. I just don't think they're aware of it. This is not really a mainstream strategy. It is very unusual. And I think now they're just calculating the Resurgence timer. It's a very unusual strategy that ZweiStein is implementing. In fact, Burn has never actually been a competitive deck up until this point. So it is a very gutsy play. There's the 2 health. Okay, we've got regen. We've got enough for Turmoil. This could be it. Are you ready for this? The very first time this lock has ever been implemented. This could be huge right now. This is very big deal. Here it comes. Oskip hits the field. We're looking for the card from deck to act as the sacrifice. We're going to need a card from main deck to act as the sacrifice. It looks like we're hitting Marine Guard in response though, which is very good for Crimson. Crimson may be aware. I wonder if he knew what was going on, because he's definitely sensing something's wrong, and he's hit Marine Guard immediately to end ZweiStein's turn. If they can specially move Oskip, then that will shut off the strategy. However, I don't think it's going to be that simple. This is very intense. So Crimson's going to be able to play something. They could probably specially move the Oskip here. They're going to pop Oskip. Oh, that's the strategy gone. He's out of the lock. He's out of the lock. The lock is gone. Holy smokes. This is huge. Holy smokes. The lock. Okay, so he's dealt with the lock. Okay, so we're no longer dealing with that now. The burn strategy's out the window. Wow. How did he know? That is amazing. And we're going to hit Regenerator as well. Oh, goodness. Twist that knife in. This is brutal. ZweiStein's strategy is starting to fall apart here. And we're going to use Dylan to specially move the card face down, which is a Marquee. Now, Crimson's not out of the woods yet, but that Regenerator will be able to cancel out the Marquee. Alright, let's see here. We've got a Dylan in play at 2450, facing off with a Marquee in play. Does it want to attack? Go into conflict. Here we go. Dealing with that Oscar was huge. But ZweiStein is not without their own tricks, and they've got a huge deck advantage in this matchup. This game is far from over. We're going to go for 2 damage here. We're going to hit Cryptid's Determination. Now, of course, there's another ace in the hole that we have not been talking about for a little bit now, and that is Proud Cryptid Faust. Proud Cryptid Faust is a class 6 for the Cryptids that cannot be specialty moved, or rather, when it is specialty moved, its specialty is immediately returned. And on top of that, it gains power when it wins a conflict. It gains 600 for each cryptid monster in your perish pile when it wins a conflict. And most of the time, if you can have 3, 4, or 5, that's a 3,000 boost, meaning you're looking at a 4,800 Faust within a single conflict. It starts to snowball pretty quick, and considering you can't specialty move it, or rather you can, like I previously mentioned, it just comes back. Yeah, it gets pretty rough, especially now considering Vigilantes. That's like all they can really do, especially move. However, they do have a couple little tricks that Crimson has implemented, that being Hammer Down, and of course the previously used What the Guilty See. However, I believe potentially both of them are already gone. We've got one Hammer Down and both Guilty Seas already gone. Faust may be the best way to go about this. So we'll engage the first attack, and it is Marquee. Marquee's going to damage Crimson again. That burn must be annoying. But, of course, Regenerator will activate. Regenerator is going to give them the health they need. And that will really deal with the Marquee problem in a great way. Let's see what ZweiStein is going with. Very close matchup. Now we're going to have a Klytus beat over the next guy. Faust. Let's see if there are any responses from ZweiStein here. If they can win this conflict. Okay, Faust is gone. Faust is gone, but Crimson's definitely aware of the Faust now, if he was not already. Turn 10, final turn before sudden death, where a single wounding will be lethal, and that's where things start to get to a whole nother level of intensity. We're going to roll a 5. Going to impose a Dragon Cupid. Dragon Cupid is a pretty nasty card, and because of its ability to take an enemy monster and also specialty move it. So they're going to allow the Cupid to hit field. Of course, the roll for 5 on Zwei's side is also very good. You're going to specialty move the Dylan, which is the best way to go, and we'll give it an extra 1,000 in this next conflict, which means it will have enough to deal with Klytus. Expert play. I mean, really, you can tell both of these guys know exactly what they're doing, and it's just an absolute pleasure to watch. We've got 3450 on that Dylan in its first conflict. Just confirming the timer on Resurgence now. But yeah, so we've only got a 3450 deal in its next conflict, as it gains 1000 from its sleeper skill. And it gets specially moved from the Dragon Keep it, of course. And that will be enough to deal with Klytus. And with Klytus gone, that will leave ZweiStein enough to get through the Lance. And with Lance gone, that will leave Crimson with no monsters in play. Unfortunately, ZweiStein can't go for another damage, as their face down cards cannot attack until they are flipped face up. Okay. Okay. So we get a Marine Guard here. Last Marine Guard for Crimson. I believe that, I don't know how many Marine Guards have been used by ZweiStein. And we are now in sudden death, which means any wounding is lethal. What is wounding, you may ask? Wounding is what you would call a direct attack when a monster attacks a player after that player has no monsters left to defend. And if that wounding is successful and does deal damage, it is immediately game over. Resurgence is gone, which means we will get some information on what ZweiStein has in their perish pile. We've got one Marine Guard so far that I can see. One Marine Guard. So we still have one Marine Guard left, and all the hammer downs are gone. So, the question is, how does each player win this match from here? Well, if you're Crimson, you're going to be looking at trying to build up the offensive, trying to get through ZweiStein, trying to force him to use those, basically trying to use those Dark Nests in their asset as a defense, because they're terrible asset defense, but they're really all that ZweiStein may have, and if you can force them out, you can really start to take advantage and push ZweiStein into those lack of resources, and when cryptids run out of resources, they're basically dead in the water. Now, if you are ZweiStein in this situation, bringing Crimson down health-wise is going to be a bit of a bust while Regenerator's out. So, you're going to have to immediately start thinking about how you're going to get Faust online and how you're going to get it to win conflicts. Now, of course, playing it face down is a good idea early in the game because people don't really know what's going on. But later on, most players generally try to play Faust upwards and just attack with it right away. It's just a little bit quicker, and you can generally guarantee a conflict win if you attack something a little bit smaller. And all you need is that initial conflict win for you to get things rolling. Let's see what that face-up card is. Okay, so we're going to Rapture Dragon Invictus. That will board wipe us, boys. Which means we're going to get some regenerators off this. Very nice for Crimson there. Now, the Rapture Dragon will give ZweiStein a lot of health. But my question is why? Why would you not save this for Berox? I don't know. I guess potentially the power-ups were getting too difficult. It's just... Berox is going to be very difficult. Why is Berox difficult, you may be asking? Well, Berox is a asset monster that basically allows Crimson to specially move a card in their perish pile to give it additional attack, and you can do it as many times as you like in a turn. It doesn't sound very strong at first, but then you realize that every Vigilante card has a sleeper skill, and that means you can choose which one you want to activate as Berox attacks, which means you can draw cards, gain health points, build board presence even drop power. Even gain power. It's an absolute toolbox of a card, and it just completely takes the deck to a new level. And if that thing keeps attacking, you can activate sleeper skill after sleeper skill after sleeper skill, and it is so hard to deal with. Roll of 3, last turn of Regenerator. Crimson's got plenty of health now. Does Crimson want to deal with it? He might leave it. But you have to get rid of 2 health to kill it. Okay, second placement shutdown. That's going to be very annoying. Players once again heated. Let's see what happens. Okay, going into second deck. Both players, I'd say Crimson has the advantage here. I think they fought back, and I think they've got the advantage here. It really does depend on if ZweiStein can force out the Barox, force them to be used as a defensive measure, and if ZweiStein can get it done. This is very difficult. Okay, one card face down. This is gonna be interesting. Does Crimson wish to deal with the placement shutdowns? If he does, he puts himself once again at a very low health point situation. I just don't think he can do that anymore, considering... I don't know. I don't know if ZweiStein has enough health damage to really make use of that burn strategy. Just confirming Regenerator's ability now. I think what it'll be is a class 4 copy of Regeneration. Let's read it. Okay, just confirming now that Regenerator will be a class 4 in the hand, which will break it a bit more, but at least it does act as an extra regen, which could be really good for Crimson. Let's see what Crimson does. Gaining health here is not a big deal. Just gonna confirm which effect would be good. Just confirming which effect is being taken. Yeah. Yeah, just confirming which effect of regeneration. Yeah. This is a tough situation. They have to either choose to gain the health point. Here we go, choosing now. First effect, which means it's going to be regaining specialties, is what the Regenerator can do. Good play. Is it the best play? Is it first or second? Looks like secondary. We're going to go for the secondary effect, which is going to gain them the 2 health. Okay. With that done, that will allow them to get rid of the placement shutdowns quite easily. But again, he needs to deal with the assets, because ZweiStein's got some cards left in that asset pile that could be a problem. I know at least some Darkness are being dropped. What else would ZweiStein have? I'm not sure why ZweiStein. So we're looking at 2 Darkness and Lacuziel and a Tacticalism, right? That's if Lacuziel's being played. It might not be. Another card face down. Another card face down. Okay, Darkness hits the field. Darkness is a card. Once we cover this card, when this card is played, you may play a Cryptid Tactical from your Perish pile, which will get you Resurgence. During either player's stage, preparation stage, you may send one encrypted card in play to the perish pile. If you do, this card gains power equal to the class of the card that perished multiplied by 500 to the end of the game. So technically it could pop itself, but why would you ever do that? No idea. But it can also pop another card in play, which would likely be something along the lines of one of those monsters that are face down for ZweiStein here. I just don't know. I don't know what Crimson will be worried about in this scenario because their health is so high now. It's at 9. The strategy is just really not. Oh, they're trying to bait them with that Starlit Wrath. Yeah, the thing is, Crimson really can't allow that Starlit Wrath to get going. Gosh, ZweiStein is betting it all on this. This is scary. Oh, here we go. Because Thaust is big. Thaust will be huge here. The issue is, ZweiStein needs the Thaust to get bigger than Barox. Thaust, surely. Thaust, surely. Thaust needs to be played. You can't go for the burn strategy. Is he going to play it face down? And we're going to go Thaust. Thaust is here. Here we go. Here we go. This is it. One of the most powerful cards in the game has been dropped. Thaust is here at double attacks. Going into conflict. Crimson is restricted to only one monster at the moment. Going for lethal. Going to play Gareth. Gareth will be specialty moved. Its power is double at the end of the current turn. But it's not big enough. Oppression. Oh! Ooh. The card face down has less power. So the card face down is lower than Gareth, which means Oppression cannot be played. And if it can't be played, then that means Thaust maybe will be able to get this winning conflict, which means Thaust will be so huge it can break through and win ZweiStein this match. Okay. So the power is lower than Gareth. The judge has verified it is less than Gareth, which means Oppression Destroyer Sword cannot be played. Gonna go Titan. Titan will take it up to a total of 3,100. Oh, choosing which effect. First or second. Just confirming now it was an attack from Thaust. Yeah. Do this a little bit later. Alright, so now Thaust is going to be weaker. $39. What in the name? 16, isn't it? Yeah, 39 doesn't make sense here. $23. Just confirming what the stat line of it actually would be. $2,300 Gareth. Okay. That's not impossible for ZweiStein to deal with, especially by using their darkness here. Now, is there a way? I just think that we've got Barox on the line here that can use these Dans in the Perish Pile. Unless Thaust activates, I just don't see it happening. I feel like ZweiStein's going to get countered here. Let's see. Resurgence in preparation stage. Popping Cryos, which will deal with Gareth. Oh, boys. Here we go. Why didn't... ZweiStein could have used Darkness to pop Cryos as well. And that would have given him at least 1,000 power, which would have been good against Barox. I wonder why. Actually, that's a good question. Oh, because it can revive a card from the Perish Pile. Yeah, okay, I see. So you can grab Thaust from that. And then, yeah, okay. Alright, fair enough. I can agree with that now. That makes sense. Okay, so Crimson can only play 2 cards this turn. They're in preparation stage. 2 cards in deck, 5 cards in hand. 1 card in deck for ZweiStein, 5 cards in hand. 3 to 5s, yes, so definitely Crimson has the advantage. But board presence wise. Ooh. Operator hits the field. Operator is a nasty card right now. Darkness. Yep, so it's going to pop their own Thaust. So that will add a total of 3,000 to Darkness, making it 5,050. Pretty nice. 5,050, just making sure everyone is on track there. 5,050 is very nice for the Darkness here. Because obviously the Thaust was going to die to Resurgence, but yeah, it sucks. Are both Hammer Downs gone for Crimson? It's a good question. We've got 1 Hammer Down. He might have another Hammer Down left. Maybe, does he only run 1 copy? He might only run 1 copy. Passing it over. Okay, Starlight Wrath goes up. Here we go. Rolling. What was the roll? Roll of 3. Okay. Imposing now. Ooh, letting them play it. But then Operator will just pop it. Why would you play it if you just get it popped by Operator? Resurgence. So we're going to go into Thaust. But Thaust is going to die here. Oh, this is, I'm not sure about this. I'm so confused. Operator's just going to kill the Thaust. Oh, I'm so confused. What are we doing? So it mills the card. Okay. What am I missing here? Well, popping Thaust is 100% the right way to go. Tiberius? Did he just pop Tiberius? Why? Oh my gosh, I don't understand this at all. Okay, 1800 to Operator. Operator goes up to 3700. Why would you do that? Oh, I'm so confused. Does that... Have I missed something here? That seems like a terrible play. There must be something I'm missing. Maybe there's a second Thaust. Or there's another combo that is just really strong that I've completely missed. But, like, this seems like a huge misplay. But then I guess, how do you get above Operator? Ooh! Oh my gosh! What a play! Oh, snap! Yep, this is going to be brutal. Okay, confirmed we are not dealing with Lacusiolt. This just got real. Oh my gosh. This is nasty. This is going to force Operator to do potentially a War Gear here. Oh, this is nasty. This is nasty. Let's see. I think War Gear comes out now. Fate Carver. What? Okay. Fate Carver's in play. Alright. I don't know if I agree with it, but sure. Discarding regens. 3 cards. Very difficult decision now. That will end the turn, of course, but this is a very close matchup. Crimson is definitely taking the edge, though. Passing it over. Crimson has the turn. Marine Guard is not an option. Roll will definitely need to be done. Roll for 4. Okay, if ZweiStein has a block here, I think they win. If they have their own Fate Carver, I think ZweiStein wins here. But we'll see. Going right to conflict. Oh, he got it! He had it. He had it. He had it. Huge. Huge. Holy smokes. Wow, that was big. That is big. That is big. Okay. That was exactly what ZweiStein needed there. I just don't know what are they going to do, Lurt, with their asset? Oh, this is difficult. Ah, this is difficult. Insidio, shuffling a card back, their last card in hand, will force Operator to be popped. Operator's definitely dead, which will then allow Insidio to double its original timer, which means original time will go to 8, and its current time will go to 6. $27.50 on Insidio. Okay, how is Thaus getting over is the question. Here we go. Null Factor hits field. Null Factor was supposed to move both. And then Thaus comes back online. Okay. So that means we're dealing with potentially 2 Baroks left, I would imagine. Ah, dear. Dear, 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 dear. I am not sure on how this works here. We're in conflict, which definitely is going to suck. Passing the turn, drawing their last card. This game winds down. 5. Going into conflict. Turn it around. Okay. Where does Crimson... So we're going to attack the Thaus. Come on, there's got to be something that ZweiStein saved here. Nah, it's gone. Okay. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. This is very close. This is very close. Sidio is gone. Asset is the same. Board's practically the same. But Crimson has 2 extra cards in hand. No tacticalisms left for Crimson. Roll of 2. Let's see. Utopia would be good, actually. If he has Utopia, if ZweiStein has Utopia, this would be fantastic right now. Wait, if they have Utopia! Utopia actually could be really good. The multi-attacks would be really good here. That actually would, I think, win in the game, wouldn't it? I don't think Crimson has anything that could drop the power. And unless... I think Utopia is good here. Is it Dorian! Oh, Dorian. Dorian's interesting. Why Dorian? What's Dorian grabbing? Thous to special. Oh! That's 2,800. Oh boy. Here we go. This game just got completely shifted. This could be it! Has ZweiStein pulled off the unstoppable? 4 attacks! Roll of 2! 2,800 Faust! Crimson has to play Barox! Oh my gosh! No way! No way! Crimson on a 6-match win streak! Is that it? Barox hits field! Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? Dual shields! Oh, man! Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Dang. That dual shield just turned this match around. Holy smokes. If that last card is a tacticalism, that's just it, isn't it? Isn't ZweiStein's last... Isn't that just a tacticalism? Is that game? Is that game? Is that game? That might be game. We've got a Darkness. We've got Ossakip. We've got... Yeah, so it is a tacticalism. What's the card he saved? 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 He needs a regen here. What's the roll? What did he say? Is that game? Has Crimson defended? That is it! GG! Crimson turns it around! Holy smokes, what a game. Well played, sir. Wow. That is well done. Congratulations, Crimson. You have advanced to the semi-finals of the Pro Tournament. That was a huge match, everybody. Congratulations to the winner. Well played. Have a great day, everyone. This has been Tom.